Good morning, Lions! I'm Miyamor and I'm excited to bring you your Olala o Kapule, or your Hawaiian word of the week. Since we had our jump rope for heart last week, the Hawaiian word of the week is ola. According to the Hawaiian dictionary, ola means life, health, or well-being. As we have learned last week through Jump Rope for Heart, it is important to live a heart-healthy lifestyle by eating a well-balanced diet, staying hydrated, and by exercising regularly. When we choose to live a healthy lifestyle, we are choosing to ola. Now that you know what ola means, you should go out and live a healthy lifestyle. Go out and ola. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful day as I brought you your Olala o Kapule. Aloha, Lions!
Slipping through the palms.
Good morning, Lions!
Thank you for joining us on this awesome week as we bring you your morning broadcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Shalea, and we are so excited to be spending this time with you because we have a very busy week ahead of us that will be filled with a bunch of fun and a whole lot of learning.
Now let's move on to our next segment to see what's cooking for this week.
Aloha, Lions!
Good
morning, Lions.
I'm Chris San.
And I'm Irish. We are happy to bring you your menu for this week.
For breakfast this week, Tuesday, bagel with cream cheese. Wednesday, breakfast pizza. Thursday, country breakfast scrabble. And on Friday, cinnamon roll.
For lunch this week, today, chicken tenders with rice. Tuesday, sloppy joe on bun. Wednesday, cheese bites. Thursday, hamburger curry with rice. And on Friday, mini corn dogs. I hope you all are hungry because it looks like we have some good food for this week.
Now let's move on to our next segment with Hiki and Troy.
Aloha, Lions!
My perfect day would be.
Hiki, wake up! Sorry, I thought it was spring break. No, it's still school.
Oh.
Spring break is next week.
My bad.
Good morning, Lions. We have an awesome week ahead of us, so let's move on to our announcements. I'm Hiki Analia.
And I am Troy.
And we are pleased to bring you your announcements for this week. Starting with one for the teachers. This week is yard duty for staff in Group E. Monday, grade K Ira. Tuesday, grade 5 Ira. Wednesday, DA is going to Ho'ulu Aina. Thursday, grade 4 Ira. And on Friday, grade 3 Ira. Well, it looks like we have a lot going on for this week, so let's all remember to strive high with pride because that's the Lion way. Now we will be moving on to our final words with Ethan and Ziggy. Aloha, Lions! Good morning, Lions. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ziggy. On behalf of all of us here at KWES News, we'd like to thank you all for joining us this morning.
Remember to always strive hard with pride because that's the Lion's way.
Come to school every day, work hard, and always try your best.
Most importantly of all, have fun at school and always remember that aloha always wins.
Isn't it spring break next week?
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Did you know that spring break is next week and we don't have school that week?
Signing off for all of us here at KWES News, we hope you have an amazing spring break.
Aloha, Lions!
Aloha kakahiaka kako. I'm Ann Hansen, and I'd like to tell you about a famous bird that is running around outside of my library. The bird is famous with the scientists because of the tremendous migration route that it takes, and it's also a favorite of bird watchers because of its great beauty. What I'm talking about is the Pacific golden plover. It's got a couple different names. In English, it's the Pacific golden plover, or just the plover. In Hawaiian, it's kolea. You could call it any of those and be correct. We have one right outside my door on the lawn. And in front of the B building, there is one that I checked out this morning. We used to have another one in front of the C1 and C2. When I was on recess duty there, I always went there early and looked and enjoyed being with the plovers. But since the construction and all the construction workers and all the noise and all the equipment, those birds took off saying, I need a safe, quiet place, and they headed for a better place for them. But we still have at least two here on our grounds. they're beautiful birds, and they've got golden spots all over their back. Both the males and the females, at this time of year, you can't tell a male from a female because they both have the same plumage. But this is March. When it comes to April or May, they will start getting into their breeding plumage. The males put on their tuxedo, is how I call it. They slough off the golden spots, and then they put on a rich black velvety color feathers on their head and their chest, and there's a white outline that looks like a real speed stripe or something, but they get to be very, very handsome, and they want to find a beautiful female to go with. But when they're in May, April or May, that's when they lift off from here and go on. If they start their migration route. I've got a globe here to show you. You do know which island we're on, right? Which island are we on? Molokai? Kauai? The island we're on, of course, is Oahu. I'm sure you knew that. We're here in this little bitty island, and we're on the south shore. We're close to Sand Island and Ala Moana Beach Park and all those parts of the ocean. But they're headed up to here in Alaska. They've got a long way to go, thousands of miles. And so one night in May, when the moon is just right, they will all lift up and go to the north shore of Oahu. And they'll meet up at Mokuleia or Haleiwa, and there'll be hundreds and hundreds of plovers ready. And they've got to get as much food into them. They eat bugs, and grasshoppers are the best because they have the most protein. So they run around all the grass and they feed as much as they can. Okay? When the moon is just right, they will lift off, and they, in the hundreds or thousands, and they will go in a spiral going up 3,000 feet till they're above the clouds, and they can see all the stars and the pathway to Alaska. And they have a jet stream of air that helps them. So they get in a V formation with the strongest ones in the front, breaking the air. And it's tough. It takes a lot of energy to be the front one. And after a while, that one falls back to take a rest, and somebody else comes up in front. And I've seen in different books, I've been studying this, some books say it takes 2 days and 2 nights. Another book says it takes 3 days, 3 or 4 days. I can't imagine having to fly continuously. They can't stop. They cannot sit down on the water and rest a while because they don't know how to swim. So if they hit the water, they're goners. So they have to continually pump those wings for 2 days, 2 nights, or the other book said 3 days or 4 nights. Okay, I'm not quite sure. But they finally make it to Alaska, and they go up to the area that is the tundra. It looks like this. It doesn't have any trees. It's just flat, and it's cold. They're coming out of their winter in May, and it's been snowing. And their job is to match up in pairs. And so what the males do is they build a beautiful nest for a female, and the female chooses the area, and together they go around and they look for the best area, and then the male gathers all the grass and the sticks and makes a very strong nest, and then they mate, and 3 or 4 weeks later the female lays 4 eggs, and the eggs are really interesting looking. Where do I have my eggs? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the eggs. They're all spotted, and they're very interesting looking. Now, most Most birds, the adult birds, go out and find the food for the babies, bring it back to the nest, and feed it to the babies. But in this case, this is the only case I've ever heard of, the babies jump out of the nest and go walking off and find their own bugs to eat. And they get back to the nest on their own. Now, the two adults do help. What they do is they make sure that the babies are safe. And if a predator comes, a predator is an animal that wants to eat them. If a predator comes, what the adult does is it makes like it's got a broken wing, and it drags the wing in the dirt and makes horrible, painful sounds, and leads the fox off, the Arctic fox, off away from the nest, and then the babies are safe. So no, the parents do not feed the babies, but the parents do make sure that they are safe. And after another month, the babies are hopping up and down, getting ready to fly off, and the parents feel their job is done. And they lift off together with all the other plover parents, and they fly 2 days and 2 nights. It's the same distance, 3,000 miles, and they head back. They get to the north shore of Oahu or the east shore, which is over Waimanalo or Makapu'u Lighthouse area, and they are absolutely exhausted, and they plop in the grass and they run around and eat bugs and get more food in them. And then maybe a day or 2 later, they return to the place from which they left. And we've had plovers here every year that I've been here. So the plover will return to our lawn. And I welcome him back and take a look at him and go, "Oh, he's so skinny. Oh, poor thing, you flew so far. Oh, go get some good bugs, some grasshoppers. You've got to fatten up. We're glad to have you back." So in April or May, wish them good luck on their tremendous journey. And when you are in the next grade, they will return in either August or September, and be ready to welcome them back. I wanted you to know that we have a very famous bird walking around on our grass. I wanted you to know.
Oh, la, la, la.